Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Matt Doolittle, and in this version of KSA Cares, Veterans Day is this weekend, and it's an important day to honor those who have served this country. One branch of the armed forces, the Marines, celebrated its 248th birthday this week, and we're fortunate enough to have a real-life former Marine in the studio. Joining us is Andrea, who served in the Marine Corps and now runs operations for a big database company. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Matt.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
So tell us a bit about your time as a Marine, what you did, why you got into it, all that.
Well, it's a legacy. My grandfather's a Marine in the Korean War, so when I wanted to join the armed forces, he was the one that helped me to enlist, took me down to the VFW with all of his buddies, like I said before, and it was over from there. I went in open contract. I didn't care what my job was. I just wanted to be a Marine. So they put me in heavy equipment. So I got to drive bulldozers, forklifts, cranes, and excavators.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. Look at that baby face right there.
Yeah, there's my MOS. Yeah.
Now, how was all the training? I mean, obviously there's the famous boot camp. Was that is it as bad as they say?
Yes. It's because my grandmother told me that they're going to break you down to the bare minimum and build you back up to the ultimate fighting machine for America. So.
And as a woman going in there, now, fortunate enough, you took me with you to the Marine Corps Ball this weekend.
Yes.
And not a lot of women in uniform. So
no.
How was that being kind of that, being a woman with all these guys out there?
It was, you were outnumbered, but you had to pull your weight just like everybody else. We're all Marines, didn't matter. We all put the uniform on. Back in the day, I was what they called in the rear with the gear. Women were not allowed in combat, but about 10 years ago, they opened everything up. And now women can do everything that men can do. So it's only about 4 to 6% women, though.
Right.
So that would mean in my unit, there were 110 people, and I was the only female.
So you go through all this, you spend your time in the Marines, now you got to go back to normal life and not running around in the mud and everything. So how did you transition?
Well, you only kind of sort of transition. Once a Marine, always a Marine. You don't really ever, you earn that title and you keep it for life. So it just stays with you and your work ethic and your leadership and your dedication to everything that you do. You always put everything into it.
And I mentioned it a minute ago, but there was a big celebration this last week.
Yes.
You had a big part in putting all that together. Tell us about the Marine weekend.
The Marine weekend. So we have a golf tournament, a casino night, and then we had the Marine Corps Ball where we get to come together. We have a cake cutting ceremony with the oldest Marine, the youngest Marine, full of traditions where we're passing on to the next generation. We get to hear the Commandant of the Marine Corps' message that's just keeping us motivated and on track and saying thank you and celebrating another year of a bunch of people that were born in a bar.
And guys, I got to tell you, being in a room full of about 400 Marines. 800 Marines. Number one, you're in the safest place in the entire world.
Yeah.
Number two, you will never feel like the most useless person, especially as a man, in that room going, I got nothing for this entire place. So, tell us what you're doing now that you've had this big career, you've built everything up. So what are you doing now?
Well, I work with Infinity Data. I do operations, and so that's where it kind of spilled over with the Marine Weekend. Is I was a big part of the planning of it, as far as like helping get the venue and doing all the ticketing, and so I manage in between. We do a lot of storage for big data.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Drina. Thank you for your service and
course,
all that you
thank you
keep
for your
doing for the
support.
Marines. And everybody, Miss Drina Black.
Woo!